Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I'm talking about my ex seems to be unaffected by the breakup. Okay, so first of all, you can't read their mind. You don't know if it hasn't affected them. There's no way of knowing for sure, okay, unless you are literally a fly on the wall and you see every moment of their life, okay? And you can't mind read about this, okay? There's no, right? You can't do that sort of thing, right? That's not within our capabilities as human beings. We can't do mind reading. We can't know absolutely everything about someone, okay? We can't be in their head like that. Okay, so first of all, you don't know. It could have affected them, okay? And you got to kind of bring some logic into it, okay? Because if you've been together for a long time, if you were together for a long time, let's say years, then of course they've been affected by the breakup. You were together for years, okay? If it was something a bit smaller, like you was only together for 2 weeks, then maybe they aren't as affected by it as someone who has been in a breakup with someone who they've been with for years, but they probably still think about you from time to time. I don't know about you, but I remember, they're not just going to develop amnesia and forget about you. I remember people that I went to school with. I remember all of the people that I've dated, at least most of them. I think there are maybe a few people that I may have maybe missed because I did date a lot when I was single. I had like a 3-year gap between relationships, where I did date a lot. But I remember like pretty much most of them, at least the ones that I, maybe saw more than once, that had multiple dates with, right? And if this was your ex, then you've definitely seen them multiple times. So they're not just going to develop amnesia and forget about you, okay? So if they've monkey branched and they're in the rebound and that's why you feel like they've moved on, and they're now in a new relationship with someone else, it's still probably affected them and it's still probably still affecting them, okay? And the reason why this is because they haven't had really much time in between your relationship and this new relationship. And generally, if people don't have much time in between relationships, that causes them to not really have time to get over the first relationship they were in, the relationship they were in with you, okay? And because they're not over it, they've probably still got some bad habits, bad behaviors that they've carried from your relationship straight into this new one. They haven't had time to process things. And no doubt that relationship they're in now is very fiery. It could be quite passionate, unfortunately, but it can also be very hot-headed. And because the emotions are still there, the emotions are still raw. They didn't break up with you that long ago if they've monkey branched. It can be true that rebound relationships and where they've monkey branched right into a new one or something like that, it can be that those relationships do work out in the end if they both seek help, or they come across dating channels or relationship channels like my one or some other coaches and learn how to work through those issues. But generally, most of the time, those relationships do not last, and if they do last, they're not particularly happy ones. So don't worry about that, okay? There's still a chance that they could come back. There's still a chance that they could, do that. But what you've got to remember is, do you really want to be with someone who has monkey branched and probably slept with someone else? I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want that, right? If I have a breakup and let's say I have a breakup with my wife and then she suddenly gets into a relationship with someone else, and then she comes back, I'm like, no, no, I don't know where you've been anymore, right? It's like, I would never see myself taking someone back who has been sleeping around with someone else. Just doesn't make sense to me. It's just something that doesn't feel great, and I wouldn't do that. I have a little bit more respect for myself than that. Okay, so no matter how your ex may appear to be, so, for example, on social media, perhaps you feel like, oh, they're unaffected because they're posting all these really great photos and they seem like they're having a great time. That even if it appears like they are having a great time, everyone has problems. Everyone has parts of their life that they're unhappy with. And that is the great lie that everyone tries to cover up on social media, on Instagram, right? You only see the pictures, you only see the holiday photos, the ones that look really good. You don't see them waiting at the airport in their sweatpants, not looking great, right? You only see the nice photos, right? And that's kind of like what social media is. You only see the highlights. Social media is a highlight reel. You don't see the negative stuff, right? Rarely people post the negative stuff, and the stuff that's boring and mundane and kind of routine. They post the highlights, okay? So even if it may appear that they're happy and have an amazing life, I guarantee it, everyone has things in their life that they're unhappy with, that they wish that they could improve upon. And so therefore, they're not as happy as it may seem that they are, okay, on social media. So just take that, because sometimes it can hurt, right? You've been through a breakup, and then suddenly your ex is posting all these photos looking like they're having an amazing time, looking like they're having a great life. It could be that they're just overcompensating for what's happened, which is very likely if they've just suddenly made these influx of photos and posts about how amazing their life is. Okay? So you got to remember that, okay? And, when you see photos like that, when you see posts like that, it can make you feel like, oh no, I'm living a crap life. I'm really miserable. I'm sitting here miserable thinking about them and they're off having a great time. I guarantee it. It's just a highlight reel. There are parts of their life that they're unhappy with, even if they are kind of relieved about the breakup, even if at this current time they're happy that the breakup happened. I guarantee that they're still miserable in some areas, okay? When you see someone having an amazing time on social media, no matter who it is, remember that everybody has problems, okay? So don't contrast your life to theirs, okay? The only thing that they're doing is they're being more loud about it, okay? Being more loud about their happy times. Okay, so the thing that you can do is focus on making your life better. Okay, in whatever way that may seem for you. It could be creating better goals for yourself, trying to make a better life for yourself in some way, right? It could be maybe your physical fitness, it could be your financial. It's good to have like a good bunch of areas that you know that you want to improve. It's good to give yourself a 5-year plan, like trying to figure out, okay, where would I like to be ultimately in 5 years, and then make a plan for that and take action on that plan. Figuring out what kind of body do I want, what kind of area do I want to live in, what kind of income do I want to be having, and then working towards that, okay? Because essentially you got to have balance in life, okay? Your whole life can't just be your love life. It just can't. Because if something goes wrong, like a breakup, for example, right, you're going to feel really crappy about yourself because your whole life was the relationship, right? But if you have a lot of balance in your life, like you enjoy how you spend your time on the weekends, you enjoy how you spend your time when you get home from work or when you get home from school, whatever it may be, right? And you've got things that you like to do, you've got projects that you're working on, you've got a good exercise routine that, releases those endorphins and you feel really good about yourself. Perhaps you even have the body that you really like as well. You've got a six-pack or you've got a lot of muscle, or perhaps you're at the weight that you want. That's going to make you feel really good about yourself if you feel attractive, if you feel sexy, okay? So work on that, right? If you don't feel like that right now. Because if you do, it's going to make you feel so much better about yourself. It's going to make you feel really good. Just imagine if you had a six-pack. If you had a six-pack, you would feel great, right? So focus on making your life better, okay? And you got to focus also on you becoming less affected by the breakup. Okay, and one of the ways that you do that is by learning from it. Okay, so don't focus on what they're going through. Don't focus on how they are being affected by the breakup. Focus on how you're being affected by the breakup, right? And one of the ways you do that, like I said, is by learning from it, right? So even if they were like mostly to blame for everything, there are still probably some parts of that relationship that you kind of regret, that you kind of wish that you did better. And it's a good idea to figure what those things are. So perhaps one time you got into a bit of a heated argument and you said some things that you didn't mean. So maybe you need to learn how to control your anger, or just learn how to just, take yourself out of a situation, have a breather, then come back. That's just one example, but there are many that you can have. Right, there are many examples out there that I'm sure you know personally where you kind of messed up, where you went wrong, where you could have done better. And basically, you can't really focus on changing what they did, but you can focus on changing what you did. You can take responsibility for that, okay? So you just work on those things, and learn from it, and then you'll start to feel a little bit better about it. Obviously, you'll have some good days, you'll have bad days, you know, right? Because you've just had this breakup, presumably. So you're going to have bad days. You're going to have days where you don't feel so great. But you're also going to have days that you feel really good about yourself. And over time, you'll start to see, if you start working on the things that are important to you and you start focusing on you more rather than them, over time, you're going to feel a lot better about yourself, and the feelings will become less intense. And when the feelings have become less intense, when you're having more good days than bad days, let's say you haven't had a bad day in a few months, in terms of the breakup, you may still have a bad day, like you don't feel well, obviously. But in terms of the breakup, you feel better about the breakup and you're not thinking about it as much. And it's less intense. You don't feel as intensely about it. That's when you know actually that you are ready to actually start a new relationship, especially if you're happy with your life and the way things are going. Even if you're not happy with where you are, you're at least happy with the action that you're taking, because you can actually see that things are progressing and you're getting better. Okay. So one of the things that can help with your evolution is learning about healthy relationships and dating, so you can create a new healthy relationship when that new relationship comes into your life. Okay. And one of the ways you can do that is by checking out some of the books that I recommend in the description of this video, and start applying what are in those books. Especially if you're focusing on your love life right now, then definitely pick the 5 books that I have chosen on relationships and dating. That will really help with that, so you can start to get a good overview of how to maintain and have a healthy relationship. Okay. There's also 5 other books there as well that are related to personal success and overcoming obstacles and things like that, which may interest you as well. So start learning what's in those books. You don't have to buy them through that link, because if you do, I will get a small commission. But you could just write down the titles of those books and just check them out from the library. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.